All right, boys and girls, this is Rob here from Rob's School of Music, and we are hanging out with a man whose resume blew my freaking mind, Mr. Tori Ruffin. So hello and wonderful to meet you, sir.
Hey, nice to be here, man. It's my pleasure.
Awesome. So he just put out a sick record, which you're going to pick apart as we go further into this under the name Freak Juice. So, we're in music school.
Okay.
And basically, COVID forced us to move everything online, like a lot of the world, I guess.
Sure.
But back when we could do stuff in real life, one of the coolest things about our school is that we would have people put them into bands and have them perform and stuff. And, after we do this question, we'll start running through the amazing gigs that you currently have and those you have played with. But what would be some advice for someone dealing with any kind of stage fright?
Oh, man, you just have to get out there and do it. I know that sounds like, well, yeah, of course you have to get out there and do it. But the only way to overcome it, man, is just to get out there and be rehearsed up. I think that's a lot, make sure you're rehearsed up, make sure you're confident in what you're doing before you get on stage. I think that a lot of anxiety comes from maybe not being as rehearsed up and practiced up as you would like to be. I remember back in the day, in LA, man, you got to pay cast to rehearse, or rehearsal time is limited. So my stage fright, and I got, really, really nervous, is because I wasn't prepared as well as I'd like to have been.
Right.
So that'd be my advice. It's just, and if you're rehearsed up and still frightened, then you just got to get out there and want it. You just got to want it and get lost in the music. Let the music. Sometimes you don't have to look at the audience. You can just be into your music.
Yeah. That's a fantastic. Honestly, like that was a culmination of the two most common and what I think to be the best answers to that question. Know your stuff, because if you know it, then that takes away. You can go on autopilot and then just feel it. I'm a big feel guy. Theory and stuff like that came way later for me. For the first half of my gig, it was just emotions and stuff and
absolutely and
feel.
Yeah, I believe, man. If you got you sometimes you really can't teach feel. You really have to have it. I mean, you can talk about it, but yeah, man, feel comes. You really have to have it. And those people that are blessed to have it are very lucky. And I mean, you could work on it. You can obviously work on your feel. It's not a lost cause to not be blessed with a natural feel. But if you have a natural feel, things go sure a lot smoother when you put theory on top of it.
Totally.
Yeah.
So so what's your story, man? Like I'm looking through and it's like I see Mariah Carey, Mick Jagger, Lenny Kravitz, Michael Jackson, Prince, and then the current gigs you have. Like, holy crap! Like, where did it start?
Yeah, I didn't tour. I didn't tour with all these. I either played on a record, or toured with or did a live gig. So
equally awesome, by the way. That's all equally cool.
Yeah. So man, I'm originally from Detroit. Then my parents moved out here in California in the 70s, and then late 80s, early 80s. When was this? It was late 80s. I had I had a buddy. His name was Bruce Sterling, and he put together. We had a businessman either putting together. I mean, we're like everybody else, going around trying to get gigs, and then we finally figured out that the way to get gigs is to manufacturing. We had a business either putting together bands for Arsenio Hall, because everybody had a band back in the day. By the way, you weren't playing the tracks. You basically came on. If you were doing late night, you had a band. So we thought, hey, let's offer a service to the late nights, and so that afforded us to end up playing with a lot of different artists. We either played with them or put together the bands that did that, and it ended up being bearing fruit. We got a chance to play on people's records. We got a chance to play with a lot of different artists, and it took me to my current gig with More Stay in Time. It eventually ended up with that, but. My only regret with that is that I wish I would have been more into taking pictures back then, because I could have had a lot of cool pictures with a lot of different people. But you know, back then it wasn't cool. It wasn't as acceptable to take pictures. I know it's kind of like a tangent, but yeah, that would be my back in the day. Man, I could had some really cool photos with a lot of cool people. But you know,
yeah, man. Well, you know, like
started playing with a lot of different people.
Yeah, I think you know, one of the coolest things and my favorite type of musicians to get to hang with and bring onto this, you know, this show is guys who have found ways throughout the years to, you know, do something with this thing, do something with this thing, jump from gig to gig to gig. I think, you know, a lot of people when they start out, they have this illusion of, oh, I'm going to be using a current reference, I'm going to be Taylor Swift or something like that. And realistically, like as a musician, that's fantastic. You could be equally as talented, but if your stars don't align, you might not just be in the right place at the right time. But if you're talented and you're cool and you can hang and you can learn quick and you're punctual and you're polite, you could find ways to get on all these records and all these gigs. And it's just so inspiring to me to look at that resume and be like, wow, like that's one heck of a ride.
Well, man, I learned early on too. And of course, when you're young, like you said, you're going to be that rock star. You know damn well that I'm going to make it. I'm going to be this rock star. But in the meantime, I learned, until I was this rock star in my mind anyway, I was going to learn as many styles and then be able to play as many different genres as I could. Number one, for sessions, and then number two, just to be able to play with any artist, you know, that came my way. So that was my thought. But I ended up playing, you know, mainly with a lot of R&B and some rap guys. But yeah, so but my thing was back in the day is just be prepared. Like, this is a school of music. My thing is learn as many genres and styles. And but be good at them. Don't just halfway do them. Like, try, if you can only do 2 or 3 genres, then that's cool. If you can do 2 genres very well, or if you do 1 genre. But my thing would be, if you could do a couple of multiple genres, man, you can find yourself, you know, making a living in this business. And they say that less than 1% of people actually make a living doing the business. So the more things you have under your belt, the more things you can offer a client, then the chances are you'll end up becoming what you want to do, is making a living and playing music.
That's awesome, man. And I tell you, like, the Morris Day and the Tyme and Fishbone, those are fun. Like, as a guitar player, that is fun music.
You can't ask for any better gigs, especially, you know, being a black guitarist from that job, because I'm old enough, and I don't know, you're probably not old enough for this, but I'm old enough to know, or not even know, but I came up in a time where Led Zeppelin and Stevie Wonder were on the same radio station. Like, this different rock, and no, back in the day, it used to be, you had Elton John, you had Rush, you had Stevie Wonder, you had the Isley Brothers, all on the same radio. So as a guitarist and a musician, I loved it all, man. We played, the guys and these were all brothers, man. Black guys. We were playing Rush, Led Zeppelin, but we played Isley Brothers. We were into it all, you know. And I was coming from Detroit, and you know, so Rush was real popular in the hood. Among musicians, you know. So I came up in the time where, you know, we played a lot of different things. So moving on, to be able to play punk, rock, ska, metal with Fishbone, and I had another band called Creed. It was Subject to Change. It was featured the girl on a different world. Her name was Cree Summer, and we played a la music, as you know. But the other guitarist was more into Crosby, Still, Nash and Young. But I was into, you know, more of the rock, funky groove rock, like I am now. And then of course we toured with Fishbone, and so I've had a great diverse you know, plethora of styles to choose from and be involved in. And you know, so yeah, those 2 bands, super funky, super rock and metal. I mean, as a guitarist, like you said, it's a guitarist's dream come true, you know.
Dude, it's a home run, and I'm always trying to like we have 8 teachers in total at the school, and everyone kind of does everything, and all of us have toured and various things. But some of them are more specialized. So if someone wanted to do metal, we have a more metal oriented guy. If someone wanted to go like real deep into the theory hole, we have a guy for that. But I feel like my specialty is exactly what you're talking about, is that diversity. Like, someone comes in, they want to learn a Metallica song. Cool, we'll learn that. Now we're going to learn some dominant chords too, dominant sevenths, because you just need to know everything. So you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
I'm going to make you rip solos on top of Disco Inferno, and you're going to love every second of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, man. I got a chance to teach at GIT when I was in about '89. I was teaching the funk class up there, but man, I would go hang out with Scott Henderson and what's my man's name? The sweeps guy that plays a lot of sweeps up at the MI. He's a monster, and he slips my name. But anyway.
There's so many, man. Yeah.
Talking about Gamali, Frank Gamali.
Yeah. I can't. It's a whole other thing, man.
But man. So, when you teach, you also learn from the students. I don't know if you want that secret to get out, but I know, I would teach something and I'd be like, that's pretty good. It's not quite it, but play it again anyway.
Right.
It'd be something cool, but it wouldn't be quite what I think. But it'd be, so you learn from the students, and then I would go hang out with these master guys, and just hang out in their class and learn as well. So that that's the beauty of teaching. You learn and you teach.
100%. I feel so blessed every day that I get to, obviously pay it forward with people musically, but at the same time, you learn from every experience. So definitely.
Yeah, every experience. I remember reading something Hendrix said that, yeah, he learned from everybody. It didn't have to be, this phenomenal player, and that's the beauty of the instrument, because it is such a physical and personal thing that everybody plays it just a little bit differently. And there's always something to be learned from somebody. You can, even if he's not, quote unquote, not that great of a player, or not the player that that you think is happening. If you listen long enough, he's gonna play something cool.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You're getting some love in the comments here. You're my current favorite guitarist. Love your work.
Oh wow, thank you.
Yeah, so let's unpack this record a bit before we get a little nerdy with gear and stuff. So it's Freak Juice and Friends. They call us Juice. What was the how'd you get that together? Is that tell me the story?
Well, I don't know if you guys know of a player named Michael Landau. He's a famous session guy, but anyway, he played on the first Freak Juice record, and his brother was in the band after the original guy, and we used to go around when we played, let's go make some juice. Let's go, juice makers. Let's go make some juice. Let's, juice makers. And I believe Mike was really, one of the guys that really started that. And I was just like, when I put together the band, I was like, man, juice. I was like, yeah, we're juice makers, aren't we? I think I want to call my band Freak Juice. I want to freak the music and Juice's music, and I want to freak it. Let's call it Freak Juice.
I love it.
And little did I know there was a porn connotation on that. I wasn't thinking like that, but apparently I've been told. Well, I was like, no, man, I have nothing to do. Yeah. I guess, I don't know. I've been told that, man. But anyway, so kids, that had nothing to do with filth and sluts. Or I don't know if we have a censored audience here, anyway. But I'm just like,
it's rock and roll, man. It's rock and roll.
But yeah, so Freak Juice, man. Juice is our music, and Freak is. I like to bend the genres, and it came about because like I said, I was doing a lot of R&B and making a living doing a lot of R&B, but I came up on a lot of different things. So when I came off the road, I wanted to rock out. I wanted to turn up the amps and play some power chords. But I was really into jazz and Miles Davis as well. So I saw Miles when I was 17 years old at the Hollywood Bowl, man. And I didn't know what bebop was at the time, but I was playing like in a fusion band or trying to play in a fusion band. I was just, actually it was the original band from the movie Sexual Chocolate, and the horn player in there said, "Man, you got to go check out Miles if you really want to, get to the next level. You got to check out some bebop." And that just stuck with me. I was like, okay, let me go see what this bebop thing is. Well, anyway, I went to the bowl, and there was John Scofield and Mike Stern. They were playing these rock and blues souls, just tearing it up. But then they would launch into these other, these chromatic and tension and release patterns. And I was like, what the fuck? What is that? That is the greatest shit I've ever heard, because I was into Hendrix and Led Zeppelin, Jimmy Page, and all the funk guys like Michael Hampton and Cameo and all those guys. But this was my first experience to tension and release, And so that changed my world right there. That's like, and from then on, I was like, man, if I could just somehow, because I liked writing songs too, but I liked being in a rock band. But I was like, I want to somehow blend these worlds, and not like but like jazz fusion. I didn't want to. I wanted to kind of like, I wanted to have a rock band, but I wanted to have but then the solo sections, I guess you could say, like Led Zeppelin, how it was blues based in the solo sections. Well, I guess my with Freak Juice, I wanted to have it jazz based. Like I try to have like the soul sections you're gonna have altered chords and dominance and tensions, so I can get that tension and release.
I love
it.
There
it is. There's Freak Juice. That's what that's all. That's how it all came about, and I've been working on it for years.
I try, man.
Trying to blend it, trying to.
It's really cool, and congrats on the release last week, and right, it was last Friday. 13th. This year is flying by, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna put the link in. I can play. Let me try this here. I just learned recently in the software I use here how to play a bit of music with it. So I'm gonna attempt to play some music. Let's see if I can make that happen. All right. Cool. Just demo a song here. Let's check if this works. We got this one queued up. Heavy.
Yeah. Kind of the Wizard of Oz vocal,
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. Let's see how I stop sharing that. Cool. Yeah, we'll try and dig into more. Yeah, I don't know how that audio quality carries over because, like I said, that sharing is new. But I encourage.
It didn't sound too good on this, but
yeah, it crushes it. But you know what? Let that wet everyone's whistles to check that stuff out. But it's super cool. So I like how you're pulling from different genres from the beginning. Was there a particular record or concert that you saw coming up that you're like, oh shit, I want to do that?
No, I mean, I'm a big, I was cool with the 80s rock, but I wasn't, I didn't feel spandex and trying to get my hair all big. And then when Nirvana came out, when they were in jeans and stuff, and it was just more organic sounding, just more kind of raw and not as processed, the Soundgarden. So like I'm a big 90s rock. I think that was that's the genre. That's the era I like of rock. So yeah, the heavier stuff is gonna sound like more 90s kind of sounding rock, and then I try and put in some 9s and 13s and kind of jazz it up in certain sections and take you different places that you might not go in a traditional grunge 90s grunge thing. So that's how I kind of keep it new and fresh without, you know what I mean? And we really do that a lot live. We like whatever the record is, we expand on it live. and those are the concerts that I really enjoyed. Like I never really enjoyed somebody just going out and regurgitating the record, because I could sit at home and put the damn record on. But what I really do enjoy is when somebody goes out, plays a song, but then they'll extend this part or change the feel of one part, because it's live. You know, I don't want to hear somebody regurgitate a record. That's boring to me. But that's why I love. And see, I'm gonna go back to Zeppelin and Pink Floyd notes. Goes like when you heard Jimmy Page had like 13 guitar parts on one song or whatever, but when they rocked that live, man, they just rocked it live, and they had so much feel on it. Same thing with Hendrix and just bands like that. You know, like I feel like they give you something extra live that you don't get at the record, and that's what that's how I try to approach. And record is one thing, live is something else. Yeah,
that's my favorite type of bands, man. So you're hitting right to my heart. Like you hit it right on the head. Well, it's on the record one way. Let's go see something different, because that makes that show special. Because the next one's going to be different, and then the next one, and it's organic. It's alive.
It's live. Yeah, I toured with Michael Franti, man. I don't know if you guys know him, and this was when he was more. It was a little more jazzier hip hop, and man, I just admired that. Almost every night he changed up. It was something different every night. It was a challenge. The structure was there, but he changed it up. You know, he changed it up. It wasn't the same. Like nothing against it, and you know, in the younger generation, or what, not even younger generation, but some of these younger bands, man, they're locked into these. I don't know how you tour just being locked into a Pro Tools rig.
Oh yeah.
You know, when you just got to be locked in every night, like how could that be fun? Like that would drive. Anyway, that's my personal opinion. Everybody's different. People like different things, so it's all good. Bro.
You know, it's fascinating to me, because I've always been the type of person where I like to, you know, I usually was the MD in most of the bands I've been in, so I'm kind of controlling the show, so I can be like, oh, we're gonna take it down. All right, we're gonna pick it back up. I love that. But at the same time, I've spoken to people. You know, even on here, you know, friends and other musicians, like this one guy's a drummer, one of the best drummers in a metal band. And in his ears, he doesn't even have a click. He has the record, and he's playing along to the actual record. That's how tight their show is, note for note. That's insane to me. I could never do that. That's a skill I don't have, you know, and I'm okay not having it, really.
Yeah, that's a skill I definitely don't have.
Yeah.
I did this one thing a long time with this great guy, and it was a smooth jazz gig, man. You know, I would play the show, and it was cool, but during a sound check, man, we would be playing and just free fall without the thing, and he ran upstairs going like, "Damn, what's that?" I was like, "Well, you know, let's play." You know, it's us that if you let go of this click. You're trying to play some jazz, you got this click on, and you're trying to solo, because the body moves. The body is full of water, and there's a flow to it. So that's how music should be, in my opinion. You know, the tempo should be, but it's okay if the tempo goes here and that. You know, if it just moves a little bit, that's what your body does. So that's why it feels natural, way more natural. If you listen to those, if you listen to the earlier records, man, they're you know, they're moving in tempo, but it feels okay, and it feels great. You know, you don't realize it's moving because it's ever so slightly, but you know there's a good feeling about it. You know, so check out some of those old Motown records and stuff. You don't quite know why they feel so good or why it sounds so good to you, but you know, it's something to be said for getting off the grid. So after that, you know, you just need a good drummer, and like we could, you know, with this record, you know. Definitely not on the grid, you know, and you know, there's some things that go here a little bit, but that's okay.
I tell you, that's my soundbite from this whole interview, man. Just get off the grid, because that's like a lot of these younger students, these musicians coming up. You know, they got computers and it has recording software, and they'll just lock it right in. And to me, that's like it's like a robot. Like, come on, like it has to a little give and take. I like that water analogy. That's a good one.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you can go ahead. Were you gonna say something?
Oh no, I was going to pivot to some more gear oriented questions. So,
right.
So I am a lefty in every aspect of my life, but I play guitar righty because my dad bought me a righty when I came up, and that's just how it stuck. So maybe I was supposed to be way better than I am, but I'm playing the wrong way. But you know, when you were starting out, was it harder to find? I mean, even now it's harder to find.
Well, I got a few lessons back then, and the dude was trying to make me play right-handed. And I wanted to play right-handed. I was trying to play. I just sucked at it so bad. And then when I turned it over, he's like, "Oh yeah, okay, go ahead." You play. I mean, I could not play right-handed to save my life. So yeah, but back in the day, my grandfather, man, my grandfather was an entrepreneur back in Detroit, and then he showed up in my house one day with I guess somebody owed him some money. So he showed up with a Gibson 355 and a custom amp, but it was right-handed. But with the 355, you can get up the neck. So I flipped it, and that was my guitar for years. And I lost it in college because I didn't realize what it was. I still wasn't up to speed, I kind of was a late bloomer, man, so I lost it in North Texas somewhere in a pawn shop, and it kills me to this day. But yeah, so yeah, no, and the instruments are hard to find. And then a lot of people don't make them so they can stay in tune, and so the tunings was always a problem. But now I'm with my new company, Schecter. I see you got a Schecter back there, and they make quality left hand. And
yes,
I'm sure if the left hand stuff is quality, the right hand is if they stay in tune. That's a Schecter. Anyway, I got a bunch of Schecters rolling around here, man, and they really take care of me. I can tell them what I want, and they kind of build it to specs. And so yeah, I'm fortunate now, but back in the day, I used to struggle with it. Even the Gibsons. I did have a nice Strat. A custom shot. I do have a nice custom shot Strat that was really cool. I played in the early days with Morris, and it's hard for them to stay. Yeah, the quality instruments left hand, we kind of get tossed to the side, people don't know what they're doing.
Especially at like the beginner level, because we have a fair amount of lefty students here. And actually, one of our guitar teachers is a lefty who plays lefty. He actually just found a Schecter baritone guitar on Reverb, which they didn't make a ton of, and it is fantastically made. But a lot of the entry-level lefty guitars, like they don't even flip the nut properly, so it's a nut, routed for a righty, and they just stuck it on. Like it's not fair.
Well, here's the deal with Schecter, man. One of the VPs or one of the maybe the owners is left-handed, so there you go about it. So yeah, man, I could definitely we should link up, and I'll give you my guy's number, and you guys should definitely get with them especially if you got a lot of lefty students. They'll I'll put in a word for you.
I appreciate it. That's awesome, man. Thank you so much. What's your go-to amp? What kind of amps you into?
Well, I currently own a 800, but it's a dual channel, and I've been playing that a lot. A Marshall 800, but I love the clean sound on this amp, and it's old, man. It's not one of these refurbished reissues is what I'm looking for. It's a real back in the day original. That's my most prized possession because the clean on it sounds. The dirty, it hasn't been modded, but I just love the sound. But I'm really into the clean sounds of it, so I'll use some pedals with that. Then I got a triple rec that I've been using for years. But I really tried. I really like the Soldano. I had a Soldano, a hot rod 50 watt. I just didn't like the clean sound so much on it. But man, I sold it, and I know that Mike stopped making them, so I should have hung on to that amp. He stopped making them. I guess he's gonna farm out. But I really like the drive and the solo sound on those amps. And,
yes,
man, amazing. But having said all that, on this record, I bought an Axe Effects, man, and Jesus Christ, this thing, man, is no joke. I mic'd up my Soldanos and I mic'd up my boogies and whatever I had, and I was getting killer sounds, and then I just plugged the thing in, went to a Soldano sound. I was like, oh my goodness, right out the box, it was right in there, maybe even better. I was like, Jesus. So I don't mic amps anymore to make a lot of so the Axe effects. I mean, some of the records mics and some of it's not. So I challenge you to tell me which is which.
Yeah. The modeling technology has come so far. So like at the school here, one of the things that I wanted to do when I was putting, this whole thing together is I wanted to make sure that everyone had, if a student comes in, they're plugging into a Fender amp or a Marshall amp. I got my dual rectifier in the jam room. We got a Roland jazz chorus that someone donated to us, like good gear so people could experience it. I have a glass case full of my entire pedal collection. I let students take them out like library books. So that was, but I was anti-modeling forever. And I tried the Line 6 stuff and I tried it. I got the Axe effects, dude. I can see it. It changed my life. My life.
I still don't like. I mean, the Helix. I'm still not a big fan of the Helix. I mean,
it just doesn't feel real. Yeah, it's okay.
Well, they gave me I do like their effects. So let me just say that Frank Padilla over at Line 6 Helix gave me a nice HX effects, and I do like that. I use that. So
yeah, that's great.
Just the modeling on it for me personally. I'm into the Axe effects for sure.
Line 6 has always done a fantastic job with their effects. Like I used to have the green delay one, the blue modulation one.
Yeah, I love their effects, man. And some people can get good tones out of that modeling. I'm a kind of guy. I need it to sound good out the box. Like I can't be in there tweaking a bunch of knobs and stuff. First of all, I don't have the patience. I'd rather be trying to practice a new bebop line or learn, some chord melody. I like to focus on harmony, and that I want. When I plug into something, I want it to sound good. Yeah, I don't want to be sticking around with a bunch of knobs. I'm not that guy. Some people are. They love it. I'd rather spend my time learning some Charlie Parker, something new, something harmonic.
Yeah.
I don't want to be around with gear. So for me, gear, man, has to kind of sound good. That's why I like the Soldano. I plugged in that bad boy. It was creamy. There's everything. I didn't have to, turn on the gain. It sounded great. And so the Axe effects, that's how I am too. So yeah.
Well, that's a really strong point there. It's funny with you don't want to mess with it. I got a buddy of mine who every time I get a new piece of gear, I'm like, dude, I got the blah, blah, blah. He's like, you're not going to learn how to use that. I'm like, oh, I'm just plugging it in. And if it doesn't work, I sell it. But the Axe effects, you're right. Right out of the box, I was like, oh, this sounds like heaven.
Are you my twin? You must be my twin.
I think so, yeah. It's like,
because I'm
but what you said though, it's very powerful because I think maybe I'm taking it in a different way to a certain degree, but it has to be here. You could tweak your tone for hours, but it's only going to get you to a certain point. If you don't know your parts and are studied, and it's just you're going to hit a wall.
If you're not playing the right notes that get people to move, dance, or have a reaction, you could be playing through a dumble or whatever. That's why I was never into that. Like, I'm not spending no 50 grand or 10 grand on the portion. That makes no sense. If you can't play, I don't give a damn what kind of amp you got. It ain't gonna make no difference. I was, yeah, you're not gonna have a $50,000 tone. I mean, that makes no sense to me. And what does make sense is, being able to, hit the right notes that make people have a reaction internally or physically or emotionally.
Yes,
that's where I try to spend all my time. If that's for me.
Yeah, no, I
Here, if you're just starting, that's what I think you should focus on. Don't get caught up in gear. Get caught up in this.
so you referenced some pretty heavy musical stuff. What advice would you give someone coming up? Because I fight, we do all instruments at the school, and a piano student theory is they're getting that right away. Our drum teacher gets everyone to read, so they can just be ready for the world. Guitar students fight us about music theory. What would you say to someone coming up, like the importance of it to, or not importance of it? What's your opinion there?
Well, my take is you want to get the guitars or canvas. You want to paint with as many colors as possible, and you want to have as many crayons in the crayon box to paint with, and the way to do that is to know your theory, study piano, know how a chord is built. Know your modes, know what scale choices you can have over this chord and that chord. You can rock out and learn 98% of the songs that are on the radio. Probably 100 these days, 110. But what happens when you get bored with that and you hear another piece of music that you have no idea how to go about that? So how to go about getting that under your fingers. So that's what theory, knowing your chords. Like you referenced piano. Piano is great. Every guitarist should know how to play a little bit of piano, or at least know the theory behind it. You shouldn't, because it's so visual. You can see chords, you can see your scale, and it's just a great tool to have under your fingers. At least the basic concept. You don't have to be proficient at it, and just understand it, because it's visual. And if you get lost on guitar, you can always look at piano. But theory, man, it's those things. It's another tool for you to paint with. You got, that's all I can say is in terms of guitars. I mean, and if you can read, you're going to be able to read certain passages that might open up another thing for you. Who you might discover, like Eddie. Let's think about guitarists or people that change. Like Eddie he changed the way guitar was being. People had tap before, but when he came on the scene, it revolutionized the thing. So reading a passage of Beethoven or Charlie Parker might lead you to do something different on the instrument, or just feel a different way. And it's not all about. Success too is what you give yourself. So if you feel like you're getting all the tools you'll need, and you can paint as many different pictures, and you're doing gigs here at the coffee shop, and you got 50 people showing up, digging what you're doing, and you're selling 50 CDs or whatever. To me, that's successful, because you're doing you've accomplished something on your own. Success doesn't always have to be in terms of monetary and the big car, the big this and that. That's where a lot of musicians go wrong, and then that's where a lot of musicians fall off too. That's like, well, I didn't make it because I'm not Taylor Swift. I didn't. Right. If you're in the music business to try and make money, you should leave now. Right. If you're not in the music because it's in your soul and you love it and it's the only thing you can do, it's like you forgo everything else because you have to play music. That's the only way you should be into music, into Rob's music school, or trying to do music for a living. It should be like you can't breathe without music. Yep. You know what I mean? And so if you can't breathe without music, then you need to learn everything you can. And it never stops, because I'm studying too. I still study, and if you stop studying, you're not learning, you're not growing, and then that's over too. So
yeah, wonderfully said.
It's on win tangents everywhere, but I hope you got something out of that.
100%. No, definitely. I mean, there's on our 1-year anniversary in this location, one of the students, he owns a business where they they make stairs, so he works with wood, and he made me this beautiful plaque that looks like a guitar, and it says something about how, where music isn't just a phase, it becomes a lifestyle. It's part of you. And I think that's a big part of our mission statement here. Like for me, if I go on a vacation and I don't have a guitar, and like there's a pretty good chance I'm going to buy a guitar while I'm away, because I just can't not play, and
Right.
it's ruined a few relationships along the way, but you gotta live it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It'll ruin the music. Will have you, single on many occasions.
Yeah, man. It's okay.
It's
part
okay.
of the ride.
Yeah, it's fine. It's funny you say that, because I recently opened up a bar, and I had no idea what I was getting. It's a live music lounge, but I had no idea what kind of work that entailed. And I looked up one day, and I hadn't played when I was first opening the bar. I was working 14, 15-hour days I was trying to do everything myself. My brother and I got a bar called the Juice Maker Lounge in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And but anyway, trying to get that open, I looked up, and it had been like 3 days. I hadn't even touched my guitar. I was like, oh, I haven't played guitar in 3 days. And so it weirded me out, because that was the first time in 40 years, that I hadn't picked up my guitar every day. And I was like, oh man, this is not going to fly. So I got to get on schedule.
It's so strange that you say that, because in the past 25 years of me playing and touring and such, from 2008 to 2010, my family and I opened up an Italian restaurant. We had a bar, we had live music. And that was the only time in my life I gave up music, was to have something on that side of it. So that's just weird that a bar made you stop for a second too.
That's weird. I told you.
You can't make this stuff up. This is crazy. All right, so towards the end here, I like to do this rapid fire question thing, and we got some time, so you can answer the questions in greater detail if you choose, or just say one or the other.
Okay.
They're all music related questions. I would always have to say, up until quite recently, nothing heavy or political. It's just music. Don't worry.
Up until recently, what happened?
Well, now everything's a little no comment. Yeah, the world is ending. I swear it's ending, but let's just keep smiling, and hope it's okay. All right. So, a humbucker or a single coil?
Well, majority of the time humbucker, but I do enjoy my single coil depending on what kind of gigs I play.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these are
freak juice.
Okay. A lot of these questions, the right answer is usually both. So it's making you uncomfortable to pick one or the other. So I apologize.
Yeah, if I don't have to pick one or the other, It is definitely both. I mean,
yeah. All right. So a Les Paul, I would say Les Paul style guitar, but you know what I mean. Les Paul or Strat?
Strat.
All right. Strat or Tele?
Tele.
Oh, Les Paul or SG?
SG.
Okay. P bass or jazz bass?
Jazz.
Martin or Taylor acoustic guitar?
Martin.
Cool. Marshall or Fender amplifier?
Well, it depends on the gig there.
I know. That one's the worst one.
That depends on the gig, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that one honestly, like I love it.
There was no pressure there at all.
Yeah, because that one honestly, like I did a gig in up in Vermont at the beginning of the year, New Year's Eve, and they had a backline. They had a backline, and I was like, oh crap! Like, and it was before I had the Axe FX, and it was a Fender Deluxe Reverb, and I just brought a bunch of pedals to make all my different sounds, and it was fantastic. So I was like, oh, I need to have one of those now too.
It just depends on the gig. I mean, obviously for the heavier stuff, Marshall,
right,
but funkier things, definitely Fender. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, delay or reverb?
Delay or reverb? Delay. I'm a delay guy. I like me some delay.
Fuzz or overdrive?
Overdrive.
Phaser or chorus?
Chorus.
Okay.
I mean, obviously I like both and all of them, but if I was on an island and I had to do a record, I would take my chorus over a phaser.
Oh, that's the last question. Hold on, we'll get there. Don't worry. Beatles or Stones?
Both.
Okay. John or Paul?
Dang, that's a tough one. Yeah, I like them both, man. I mean, the cool answer, I'm sure, would be John, but Paul, because he's been around. I mean, Paul's no joke. He's a bad boy, so I have to say both. I can't make one mind on that one.
If it helps you, Paul is my answer there, so that would have been all right. This next one is the hardest, I think. Led Zeppelin or Pink Floyd?
Hard for me. I'm a Zeppelin man all the way.
Yeah. All right.
I do like me some Roger Waters. I listened to that Tyme album, Prison. Yeah, and I really liked a lot of it, but for me, it's no comparison. I mean, no, for me, I mean the grooves that Zepp and those guys, John Paul Jones, John Bottom. Oh man, for me, nothing like it. That was fun. That was my childhood, listening to those guys.
So Zeppelin is one of my top 5 favorite bands of all time. It has been since I first heard them. And I think one of the coolest parts of my job is I get to show people these songs for the first time.
Right.
Showing a drummer when the levee breaks and trying to explain what's going on there and how that was recorded. And they're like, where's the grid? I'm like, there's no grid, bro.
Yeah, you should teach them that. I want to tell you about that good thing. What's the that song?
It's just too much good stuff, man. It's.
I want to tell you about that good thing. Oh man, that's funky. I forgot it. Yeah, man, Zeppelin.
All right, so you're on a desert island. Ooh. And you get one guitar and one amp and one pedal. What would it be?
Okay, well, I mean, guitar. Would I be playing for anybody or would I be playing for myself?
Playing for yourself. So you can play whatever kind of music you want. It's just like your isolated dream situation. It doesn't have to be something you own. It could be anything, in the world.
Okay, well, I'm gonna take me that Gibson L5, that big fat Gibson L5, and I'm gonna take I'd probably take a couple of like that George Benson George Benson what is it called, a DeVille that he has, that model.
Oh yeah, the big air.
That way I could rock out a little bit if I needed to. And then just a nice looper pedal.
There you go, looper. That's a good answer.
Yeah, looper pedal that had effects in it.
Nice.
I take this.
Oh, is that the new one?
Yeah, that's the new one.
How is that?
It's cool, man. I dig it. Yeah, Boss RC 500. It's pretty cool.
You know what it is I have.
That's with COVID, you got to get into different areas. I'm trying to get my solo thing together. I want to try and get some solo stuff going. So, but
cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as we wrap this up, you have anything cool coming up? Any virtual things, or where can people check?
Yeah, man. Okay. So, first of all, please go check out the record at freakjuice.bandcamp.com. It's our brand new record, Freak Juice and Friends, and it's all actually on all the platforms, iTunes. But if you want to get at us directly, and that's our website, freakjuice.bandcamp.com. We also are going to have a live stream coming really soon on beats.com, Freak Juice live stream. And
say that one more time. Your voice cut out. Say that part one more time.
So we're going to have a live stream on, there's 2 platforms, Flyte TV, There will be a live stream, and you can see it on demand. And Veeps.com we're looking at. Cool. Freak Juice. I think that's owned by Good Charlotte. And so, yeah, Veeps.com, Freak Juice. We're going to have a live stream. I'll post it maybe in this interview when it's up and running, because this is going to be on YouTube, right?
Yep. So this will be on YouTube. It's going to be, the podcast will be on iTunes, Spotify, other podcast platforms. So the audio, the whole thing. I'll send you all the links.
Yeah, send me all the links, and I'll post when it's live and running. So
cool.
Yeah, look out for that. And if you're ever in Tulsa, come check out the Juice Maker Lounge. You know, we got our own bar, musicians, so cool. You know. So I'm trying to, you know, when this COVID thing lifts, we're going to be doing a lot of different things there. So check us out. Yeah, check out Schecter Guitars, man. If you're a lefty, definitely. But yeah, Freak Juice, man, support. It's independent record, man. We could really use your support.
Awesome. I'm gonna plug it real hard when I repost all this, and then we'll be seeing you in Coming to America too at some point too, right?
Oh yeah. And you know, that's so funny. You know, a lot of people. You know, I've had the opportunity to tour with Prince and Morris Day and all these people I, you know, admire. But sometimes I'll be there, and I'll tell, and somebody go, "He's playing with he used to be in Sexual Chocolate," and I'm like, "You're in Sexual Chocolate?" And I'm like, you know, that's not a real band per se. They just love it, man. Yeah, so Sexual Chocolate coming to America too. I think I Am the Guitarist. We did play. The funny story about that, we played that live, the music live in the first track, and we were in there, and the producer goes, "Halt! We don't want you to sound like that. We need bad notes. We need you to sound like the worst lounge band." I was like, okay, we can do that. So yes, that's us playing, and no, we're not that bad.
Awesome, man.
Yeah. Carl Denson plays with the Rolling Stone from Sexual Chocolate, Melvin Davis, Lee Ritenour, Shaka Khan. So there's some heavy hitters in that Sexual Chocolate band. So look for us December 19th. Awesome.
The list goes on. Tori, thank you so much for your time. Please stay safe. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Happy holidays. And I urge everyone to check out this record. And thanks for hanging with us today.
Thank you, man. And really thank you for having me on, man. I can't thank you enough for, you know, promoting.
My pleasure.
We appreciate it, man. Man gives you a lot of love.
My pleasure.
Okay, buddy. You stay safe.
Brother.
I'll see you next time.
All right, man. Definitely. Bye.
All right, bye.